Hey guys, it's Chelsea with another episode of Musical Notes, and today I'm totally stoked to talk about Lecrae's new album, Restoration. If you're new to my channel or you are new to the Smart Cookie Files in general, you obviously don't know that I'm a huge Lecrae fan and a fan of the entire 116 Clique. I found Lecrae in 2010 and basically have not stopped listening to him and the other members of the 116 Clique since. The 116 Clique is based on Romans 1:16, and that's their statement of faith that Reach Records was founded on. Reach Records is Lecrae's record label that he started. Basically, I'm a huge fan of Lecrae. I've seen him 3 times in concert, and I will go to any show he's at if he's in my area, because I just think he's a great performer, and he also is a true man of God. Like, no matter what he's dealt with in his life, he always turns back to God and finds a way to turn what he went through into art that speaks to believers everywhere. And I just really like everything that he's about, and also that he totally makes me feel like being somebody who follows Jesus is kind of like a little bit gangster, so I feel like that instantly makes it cooler. So actually, I just found this out, but Lecrae left Columbia Records 11 months ago and decided to just go back to being an independent artist, because he felt like he talked about it in a video, which you can find on his channel. You can hear him talk about it in its entirety, but basically, to sum it up, he said that he liked that it opened a brand new network to him, but at the same time it was like they controlled when he put out songs, they controlled how he would put out songs, they controlled what kind of songs he would put out, and he just didn't like that there was like limits to his art, and so he went back to doing his independent label solely, which there's nothing wrong with that. His sole success has been through his independent record label, Reach Records. Restoration is his 9th studio album of Christian hip-hop. The concept behind the album is based on the years prior to the album's release on August 21st, 2020. He struggled with clinical depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, and marital problems, and even considered abandoning Christianity. He saw a resurfacing of various attributes of childhood trauma after facing relentless criticism from many Christians. The theme of the album itself is about mending what is broken, both as an individual and in society, and finding holistic restoration of healing, particularly from God. And also, what's really cool is he's also putting out a book where he specifically talks about his struggles with all that and goes into detail about it, and it's just another reason why I just think he's such a great artist, is because he's just so open about his own personal struggles in his life and then uses them to make his art. And I just feel like that really truly makes you a better artist, because then you have a vulnerable component and you appeal to people on a human level, human to human, and it just makes you more relatable. So yeah, his book, Restoration: How I Lost My Religion But Found My Faith, is coming out October 13th, 2020. Restore Me is what opens the album, and it's an intro track that gives the overall themes of the album. It is 1 minute and 16 seconds long, which is on purpose, and describes Lecrae's struggles with faith, loss of friends, and trauma that had resurfaced in his life. And the track ends with a refrain about asking for restoration. My favorite line in the lyrics is when he says, "Faith is starting to crumble, these critics starting to mumble." And I'll let you listen to a sample.
lost everything I had inside a couple years. Lost my faith, I lost my mind, I lost a lot of tears. I spoke up about these problems that I saw outside. People turn their back on me, you would've swore I died. Molested, abused, abandoned, arrested, accused and stranded. I grew up with all this trauma, it's nothing. Forget it happened till years later it show up. Life is starting to blow up, faith is starting to crumble. These critics starting to mumble, oh my God, I feel...
Samples Mary Mary, Shackles Praise You. It's a personal ballad sharing hope and freedom that can be found in life. The idea of being set free is used as a triple entendre. It's freedom from the industry, society, and schemes of evil. And it's called Set Me Free. And without further ado, here you go.
Shackles on my feet, they won't let me be. Won't you set me free? Break this on me. Shackles on my feet, oh, they won't let me be. Won't you set me free? Break this on me. Break this all on me. Let me go. Let me go. I've been going through so much, I swear these people let my go. That's on me, that's on mamas. On my mama, I can't take no more, so miss me with that drama. Get your commas, get your rap straight, get your facts straight. Hold me down, I rise up on her like the tax rate. Keep my past straight, never lack faith. God been working, they gon' have to hold me back, man. And tell them, you can pick a side if you wanna. You already know who I grow with. You don't want no problems with me.
The next track on the album, Wheels Up. It refers to the taking off of an airplane where the wheels are taken up underneath the plane as it leaves the airport runway, and it has the same feel-good musicality of that entire imagery, which is about celebrating Lecrae's thankfulness for his success throughout his career, his reliance on God, and his restoration through problematic times. And my favorite lyric in the track would have to be, Lord God, please loosen up my grasp. I've been broken-hearted, mind departed, stopped and started, lost my hope and lost my way.
And for 1 second, all my problems fade to gray like no one saw them. I get a God's eye view on everything, looking out my window pane. Wheels up, put the seats back. Wheels up, put the seats back. Some days I can't believe how far we made it. I thank God for the fans and pray for patience. At 20,000 feet, we coming straight up. Wheels up, put the seats back.
Okay, now it's time for us to get a little bit turned up in here, and this next track is going to do that. It's Gospel Meets Gangster, and one of my favorites. Like, as soon as I heard this one, I was like, yes. Aggressive trap influenced record about the empty satisfaction found in achievements, money, and fame, and is based on Ecclesiastes 1:14, which says, I have seen everything that is done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and striving after the wind. The my favorite line on it would have to be, I got awards, a lot of plaques, but they don't keep my soul intact. You lose your mind to gain the racks, fame and drug, the same as crack.
Over the top, ain't no love though. So much spot though. I'm on the chauffeur. Over the top, ain't no love though. I'm on the chauffeur. I'm at a stop, yeah. Over the top for real. Over the top for real. Over the top for real. Price won't drop for real. Over the top for real. Over the top for real. Over the top, checking the stock. It's about to pop for real. Got a Nike deal. All I see is checks. They on Instagram flexing for respect. Jewelry store bought a roller. Billboard #1 did that. Hit it. Independent label, I built that. Hit it. Illuminati rumors, I killed that. Hit it. Arena full of people, I feel that.
The next track is Self-Discovery, and it's an introspective track about Lecrae's relationship with God, family issues that were eventually resolved, and growing up in a gang scene in California. My favorite line in the song would be, "Now I'm up, it's a real life, and when it get real, I can feel cray."
He was a smart kid. It's always about Lecrae because he was great. We knew he had something in him. Never expected this though. And grandma said we came from Jamaica, across the ocean till we made it. And my DNA test said the west side of the motherland is where they take us from. Never remember daddy's house, so I couldn't tell y'all if I'm Zulu. Of course I couldn't tell y'all how I be courtside. I made it this far without a cosign. Of course I struggle a lot and stay praying. Unforgettable, Swaley, demons Achilles, Katie. Now I'm up, it's a real life.
The next song that actually was the first song that I heard off the album is called Deep End, and it was released, and that's another reason why he ended up leaving Columbia Records, is because he wanted to put that one out instantly around the time of when George Floyd was tragically killed by police brutality. And so that's what that song references, but it is basically a mournful track over Lecrae's struggle with his faith and being a black man in America, but it also can be subjectively seen as just a track of kind of like losing your own sense of self and then having to reach out to God and be like, I need you to restore my identity and show me who I am in you. And that's how I listen to it, because obviously I am a Caucasian American. But for me, it was just like, it had me stoked for the rest of the album, because it just was totally like hard hitting right away. Like, he has a line in it that is my favorite, and it says, "They be like, F you and what you believe in. I do not trip. I keep it G. What in the H you saying to I? Ain't no JK when I'm talking to God."
Right now, right now, right now, right now, right now, right now, right now. I've been trying not to go off the deep end. Give me a reason. I've been trying not to
stay on point. I've been trying to save my voice, but y'all gave me no choice. The world gone mad, can't ignore this noise. Look at these people found dead in the streets. I got some partners that hate the police. Me, I'm just trying to hold on to my peace, cause I'm liable to lose it and go get the peace. I need a reason, I need a season. Pleading with Jesus, all of this grieving. They be like, if you and what you believe in. I do not trip, I keep it cheap. What in the H you say in the I? Ain't no JK when I'm talking to God. Don't need a reason to open my eyes. If I'm still breathing, I'm running for mine. I've been doing better than I was before. I walk with the limp cause I've been wrestling with the Holy Ghost. Deep in dirty spit, but still somehow I keep on floating. Thought I lost my grip, but God reminded me it's holy.
The next track is kind of cool because it's his first collaboration with John Legend. It's a lighthearted melodic track about difficult situations and asking God to help you not to drown in your problems. And I really like it because the melodic way that John Legend sings throughout the chorus parts, and then the dichotomy of Lecrae talking fast on the rap parts is really well put together, and definitely shows another sense of poetic metaphor of how life can speed up, and then it can feel like it's slowed down to the point where you're either in a season of waiting or you're just not sure where you're supposed to go next. And it's just a great metaphor for life, and that God will never let us drown. Okay, I'm going to talk about my 2 other favorites and then basically go back over the other ones with you guys. So, my next favorite is another one of the hard-hitting Gangster tracks. It's gospel meets gangster, and it's called Keep Going, and it samples Celebrate More by the 116 Click, about keeping going in the plans and purposes of God.
You ain't no fraud. I go too lit, I go too turn on these bars. I get good, I'm too legit, I gotta keep going. I gotta get it, I keep scoring, gotta keep going, yeah. Quarterbacking, pitching them packs, they tryna sack me if they catch me lacking. Lock me up inside the dragon, yeah, yeah. Belly the beast, swallow my cousin, I got the keys, yeah, yeah. We never had no daddy, daddy was running the streets, still we made it out the pit. 30 clicks, get you hit. My whole clique still 116. In your hood like it's 06. Keep my hand up on my hip. Pray to God nobody trip. Hit you with that truth to turn us insane inside of me. We been too lit, we been too true, ain't no fraud. I go too lit, I go too turn on these bars. I get good, I'm too legit, I gotta keep going. I gotta get it, I keep scoring, gotta keep going, yeah. I was down at the bottom, got it out the mud. Kept it going even when they never show me love.
The next track that I really like, and as a signature to all of Lecrae's albums, he always has a track that is basically written for his wife, which I think is so beautiful. And it's this one's called Still, and it features the R&B artist Danny Lay, and it's an R&B style track that is dedicated to his wife and fighting for their marriage, and that he doesn't want to start over with someone else. He's still willing to love her. And my favorite line in it, that Lecrae always has these really gorgeous lines that are like romantic but biblically romantical, and he said in this one, "We fit together like a puzzle, ain't nobody else for me, baby." And I just think that's cute. Here you go.
Women trying to hold you down. Listen, I'll be honest, they get kind of wild. Throwing parties in my section when I'm out of town. I know I used to run the streets, baby. I was out there trying to hustle, making sure that we could eat, baby. I did my dirt, but now I'm clean, lady. We fit together like a puzzle, ain't nobody else for me, baby. Let me come through.
Okay, so now I'm just gonna go over the rest with you guys and then basically sum up the album for you. So the next another track that is notable is Saturday Night, and that is a piano R&B ballad about seeking relief through the means of the world, like drug use, alcohol, and using people for sex to relieve emotional pains. And the track ends with a reference to Lecrae putting on his church clothes, which leads to the next track, which is conveniently called Sunday Morning. And basically that's what that track references, is like where you show up to church again after a long period of being away from the church or being away from the faith in a sense. And that's basically what that song talks about. Sunday Morning is a feel-good track featuring Blue June and Kirk Franklin, and it's about God restoring grace despite how life is just a vapor. And it even has references to the loss of Kobe and Gigi Bryant. My favorite line in that one is, "Last night was a mess, God just hit refresh." Zombie is another one, and that is a piano heavy track that shares his testimony of how he had no option but to follow the desires of the flesh until he met Jesus and got saved. And the track also samples a 1995 gospel track by Fred Hammond and Radical for Christ, and that is called "We're Blessed." My favorite line in that is, "Always acting brazy, but my heart feel like a chew toy." Only Human is a R&B gospel ballad featuring Chicago the Kid, and it's about God's relentless mercy and how God puts up with all of our human weaknesses and loves us through them. And a good line in that is, "Ain't no prescription for my brokenness, no pills for." The last track, and actually the last track on the album, is called Nothing Left to Hide. It is a hopeful, lighthearted collaboration track with Gwen Byrne, and it is about how God knows all and his love brings a brand new light into a believer's life. And my favorite verse in it is actually the whole second verse, and basically it's because of how he like mentions creationism and like how if you don't believe in God, like how do you even see the world? And that's kind of what it's questioning. And it says, imagine you don't get nowhere to place space. You just live in life taking up space. I can't see me living for nothing at all. If ain't no God, what's the point of each day? What's the purpose of us waking up? We just some cells on a cell phone, just a bunch of atoms hanging in the attic, just some molecules in the mailroom. Nah, I know I got purpose. I know I got passion. He purchased the package. I'm on the home team. Never good enough to get the love of Christ, but he good enough to get the love of me. I tried running from him, but his love tracked me down like a hound. Ain't no other way around it. You either choose love or you choose death. I choose to let the love of God drown me. So as you can see, I definitely recommend that you check out and listen to Restoration by Lecrae. And definitely check out his accompanying book to this album, Restoration, How I Lost My Religion But Found My Faith, coming out October 13th, 2020. But overall, this album doesn't disappoint, as per usual with Lecrae. He has praise songs throughout with his clever, hard-hitting, truth-telling lyrics, and he always takes gospel tracks and makes them gangster. And we thank you, Lecrae, for just being a true testament of a genuine artist. Until next time, feel free to express yourself. Bye, guys.